Hello everybody, and welcome to this somatic workout that will target your legs and your bum. Primarily because it's a somatic workout, we're going to work at engaging the muscles throughout the entire body. So you don't need to have a yoga mat, but I recommend you have some cushion to put underneath your knees because we're going to be on all fours. And also, if you have 2 yoga blocks, that's great. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use books or folded up bed sheets or anything you find around the house. And if you don't find anything, that's fine. You will do great without it. You just need to bend your knees a little bit more, but that's fine. So start by just coming to a standing position, feet hip distance apart. Make your knees soft. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And just make sure that your weight is evenly distributed throughout your feet. And then just take a few moments to arrive in the body. Let go of the rest of your day. And just allow yourself to take this time to give your body love and acceptance, to honor the state that your body is at right now in this very moment. And then open your eyes and come to all fours. So we're going to start with a little bit of warm-up just to start engaging through the hips and releasing a little bit around the hip joint. So take your knees wider and start making circles with your hips. So you can imagine that your hips are drawing a circle in between your knees. And you do about 3 or 4 rounds in one direction and then you change direction. Keep circling slowly. Try to find your own range of motion. So it can be bigger, it can be smaller, it can be different on the right and the left side. But don't work through pain. So if you feel pain, you make the circle smaller. And then, as you keep circling your hips, you also allow your spine to follow in that movement. You may notice as you move your hips, your spine also moves. So you can just let that happen and maybe add a little bit of extra spinal movement. Keep your elbows soft though, so that you also engage the muscles in the shoulder girdles. And then come back to stillness. Place your knees underneath you. Find your all 4 positions. So hands should be placed where you feel that they support your body, where they can carry the weight of your body, and your knees also. And then try to keep your elbows soft, so slightly bend in the elbows, because if you lock them out, you're going to disengage the muscles in the arms and the shoulders. So always try to keep your elbows slightly bent. And the first exercise is a bit challenging for the balance, but that's the whole point, because it's going to wake up your entire body and firing up all the muscles that you need to go through with this workout. So we start by lifting the right leg and the left arm. Now, if this is really way too much for your balance, I suggest that you move closer to a wall so that you can lean into the wall a little bit. And then you want to take your hand to your foot behind you. So hand reaches for the foot, and then hand reaches for the knee in front of you. And the easier way is to take your hand behind the other arm. The harder way is to take it in front of your arm. Okay, and we do this 4 times in total. 2. And work really slowly. And always work within your body's range of motion, okay? So I'm able to lift my knee quite high. Maybe you are working here. That's also fine. You have to honor the state that your body's at right now. Was that 4? I think that was 4. So just stretch out arm and leg before you place it down. Move over to the other side. Left leg, right arm. And then hand reaches for the foot behind you. And hand reaches for the knee in front of you. Reach for the foot and reach for the knee. Reach for the foot and reach for the knee. That's great work. This is not easy. And stretch out your leg and your arm before you place it down and step into plank pose and make it buoyant. So bounce through your elbows and your wrists, bounce through your ankles and your knees to really start waking up the entire body. If you can get the legs to help out in plank pose, it's just gonna make it so much easier. And then place your knees down, come back to sit on your heels and shake your wrists out. Great work, everybody. This is so hard. And it's so good. We're actually gonna make it 2 times more in total. So come back to all fours. Right knee, leg, left arm, hand reaches for your foot, and hand reaches for your knee. And now if you're working on this level, that's also perfectly fine. But when you do, you always try to lift your knee as high as you can. That's the way to get stronger and more mobile. And I think we did 5 now probably. And then stretch out, place it down, and left leg, right arm, hand reaches for the foot, hand reaches for the knee, hand reaches for the foot, and hand reaches for the knee, and for the foot, and for the knee, and one more time. Nice. Stretch out your leg and your arm before you place it down. Step back to plank pose and keep it buoyant. So I bounce my way through plank pose because I want to engage all the muscles throughout my legs and get my feet to help out carrying the weight of my body. And then place the knees down, sit back on your heels, shake your wrists out. Okay, and we do it one last time. Right knee, left arm. Hand reaches for the foot, and for the knee, and for the foot, and for the knee, and for the foot, and for the knee, and for the foot, and for the knee. And then stretch out both arm and leg before you place it down. And move over to the next side. And hand reaches for your foot. Hand reaches for your knee. Hand reaches for your foot. Hand reaches for your knee. And foot, third time. And knee. And maybe now you feel that you have really increased your range of motion also. At least I have that feeling. And stretch out. Place it down. Step back to plank. And find a little bounciness in your plank pose. Before you place your knees down, sit back on your heels and shake your wrists out. Very nice. And we move over to do some side squats. So come up to standing, come to stand on a wide-legged position. Feet are parallel, toes are pointing forward. And this is where you're gonna use your blocks underneath your hands, because you wanna be in a position where your back is straight. So you don't wanna be here, you wanna be here. And if you're here, that's fine. You can take your hands on a table and do this, or on a chair, depending on the length of the back of your legs. So I start squatting my right leg, and as I bend my right leg, I press my left foot down and away from me, and I make a little pulse. And then I move over, bending left leg, pressing the right foot down and away from me, and make a little pulse here. I make a little pulse here, and I make a little pulse here. Nice. And just, you always work within your own range of motion. You bend your knee as much as you can. You go as deep as you can without feeling pain or discomfort. And chances are you will notice as you do this a few times, you can go deeper. You can bend your knee more. So that's nice. And now we're gonna add on a standing split to this pose. So bending my right knee, turning my right toes out so they're pointing towards the short edge of the mat, taking my hands with me, one hand on each side of the foot, and then I lift my left leg up towards the ceiling. And then I make a little pulse through the right leg. So this will actually make it easier and prevent any cramps from happening. And then place the foot down, turn the toes back, squat on the left leg, squat on the right leg, squat on the left leg, and move over to the left side. Hands on one side of the foot, lifting the right leg, and make a little pulse in the left leg. So you lift your right leg as high as you can. I mean, if your leg is here, this is where your leg is, and that's perfectly fine. Or maybe you just take it all the way up to the ceiling. That's also perfectly fine. Coming back down, turning the toes, squatting on the right leg, squatting on the left leg, squatting on the right leg, turning your toes, take your hands with you and lift your left leg and squat on the right leg, or pulse in the right leg. Nice. And then place it down, come back to center, squat on your left leg, on your right leg, on your left leg, turn your toes around, take your hands with you, lift your right leg, and make a little pulse in the left leg. So now maybe you start noticing that you can lift your leg a bit higher while working those gluteus muscles. Place it down, come back to center. We do one more time each side. So squat your right leg, squat your left leg, squat your right leg, turn your toes, take your hands with you, lift the left leg, and pulse through the right leg. And really press that left leg up, engaging your gluteus maximus muscle. Place the foot down, come back to center, squat on your left leg, squat on your right leg. Squat on your left leg, turn your toes out, take your hands with you, and lift your right leg. And really squeeze that gluteus maximus muscle. Nice. And place the foot down, come back to center, and just do one more squat on each leg. And just place your blocks on the side. Come back to both feet parallel so that you can sit down on your mat. And we move on to tabletop. So feet about hip distance apart, hands about shoulder width apart, and try to keep your fingers pointing towards you. But if this is too much on your wrists, just turn your hands around. It will be easier. But it's also, I think you get better stability with your fingers turned towards you. And try to keep your elbows bent throughout the exercise. Lift your chest, and we lift the hips up 8 times. 1, 2. And you just try to lift them a little bit higher each time. 4, 5. And notice where you place the weight on your feet. Try to keep it evenly distributed. 7 and 8. And sit down, legs out in front of you. Please do keep your knees bent and just lean forward. Easy. Come up. Lean forward. Come up. Lean forward. And come up. And we do it with the straight legs. So this will target more of the back of the thighs, and it's also a bit harder, at least according to me. So hands in the same position, elbows slightly bent, lift your chest and lift your hips up 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Just keep your legs straight, keep your knees slightly bent, come forward with your upper body and come back, come forward, come back, come forward, come back. And then we do a leg lift, sitting leg lift. So now if you're capable of sitting like this, legs straight, back straight, great. If you're not, then you just lean into your hands behind you, okay? So I want you to try to keep your back straight when we do the exercise. And you just lift your leg up. It doesn't have to be very high. So we do 4 times each leg. Left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, left leg. And now I lost count, but let's do one more. I think that was 8. And then we do it all again. One more time, this whole routine. So starting with tabletop, knees bent, elbows bent, chest lifted. 1, nice. 2, this is really good for firing up the muscles on the entire backside, from the kneecaps to the top of your shoulders. 5, maybe 6, 7 and 8. And it is also a great warm-up for the hip thrusts that we will end this class with. So knees slightly bent and just come forward 3 times to release a bit of the tension that you created on the back of your body. And then we do it with the legs straight. Same exercise. Elbows bent, chest lifted, and lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oh, man, that's hard. And come forward. 1, 2, and 3 times. And then leg lift. If you want an extra bit of a challenge, you take your arms out to the side and lift your right leg, your left leg, your right leg, your left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg, and left leg. And we're coming back to our feet. So a bit of a challenge. See if you can do it without using your hands. Like this. Very impressive, I know. And then I'm just gonna flip over to the other side so you get a better visual. So come into a squat position, or like anywhere you can sit in a squat. So if you need to keep your heels up, that's fine. If not, then keep them down. And you gotta find the position for your feet which works for your knees and your hips and your ankles, okay? And we're going up and down 8 times. And so to start to engage, I just press my feet down and I lift my hips up a little bit here. And then go all the way. Take the arms with you and let them make a big circle as you go down and up and down and up and down. And that's 5. Let's say it's 5, 6. Nice. 7 and 8. Very nice. So come down to sit, and we work with the hip thrust, one-legged to start with. So we make 8 on each leg, starting with the right leg, lifting the left leg. Try to keep the thighs parallel here, so you're not pointing your leg up towards the ceiling. It will make it easier though, so if this is too heavy for you, you can try to point it up towards the ceiling. But if you want a real challenge, try to keep your thighs parallel. And then just work the hips up and down 8 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do both legs at a time. 1, 2. So really squeeze your bum at the top. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And just take your knees towards your chest and roll from side to side to help release some of the tension. And then come back onto your feet and find your squat position. So start with that smaller lift by pressing your feet down and slightly away from each other. And you engage through your gluteus maximus muscle. And then you lift all the way up. Arms make a big circle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice. 7 and 8. And come down, come back onto your seat. We do this 3 times in total. So hip thrust starting with the right leg 8 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Both legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And take your knees towards your chest. Roll a bit from side to side to release some of the tension that you have rightfully created in your gluteus muscles. And then one last time, squatting, come back onto your feet, find your squat position, press the feet down and away from each other to lift up the hips, and then come all the way up to come down to 3. So this is great also for hip and ankle mobility, right? And your back will also like this very much. That's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Very good. And last time, hip thrusts. Come down on your back, starting with the right leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Both legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And take your knees to your chest. Roll from side to side. That was really great for your thighs and your booty. And now we're going to take some time to release the tension that has been created around the hip area. So take both feet down without using any hands. Just lift your right knee and start making circles with the knee. So look at how slow I'm going and don't go any faster. This is qualitative movement, not quantitative. So make about 3 circles in one direction and then you change. And I want you to work in your own range of motion. So don't work through pain or tension. If you experience pain when you do this, you make the circle smaller, okay? There's not supposed to be any pain, just a nice feeling of oiling up your hip joints and introducing some new movements to the muscles surrounding the hip joints. And place your right foot down, lift your left knee and do the same thing. You may experience a difference between your right and your left side, which is perfectly normal, because just as we all look different on the outside, we also all look different on the inside of the body. So not two people have the exactly same skeleton bone structure. And go a few more circles here. And then place the foot down. Just release for a moment. And then take your right ankle to your left thigh. Just gently press the knee away from you and flex your foot and then lift your left foot up without using the hands now. So just rock from side to side to get a nice stretch sensation in the gluteus muscle. So we rock from side to side to kind of get that stretch to travel throughout the entire gluteus muscle. So this muscle sort of covers your entire butt cheek. So there's no point in just stretching a part of it. You want to stretch all of the muscle fibers. Yes. And then just pause for a moment before you release and change legs. So left ankle crosses over your right thigh. Take your knee gently away from you, flex your foot, lift your right foot up, and just rock from side to side. So you can also try to do it with your legs straight if that's easier. Sometimes if you're not used to making this kind of movements, they can be really difficult, but it gets easier if you practice. Just pause for a moment before you release. And then just take your right leg, stretch it out up against the ceiling. Keep your knees slightly bent and imagine you're pressing the base of your big toe up towards the ceiling. And then make a little pulse here. So not too hard, just to feel the stretch on the back of the thigh. And then shift legs. Left base of the toe joint presses up towards the ceiling, knee slightly bent. And just take it towards you. And then come down, just take a breath in and out. And we're done for the day. Great work, everybody, and I hope I see you soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care of your body, give it love and respect. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.